Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Craig Harden.
Todd Redner.
Scott Fry. All right, thank you guys. So, first of all, I'm a big fan of you guys in animation. I watch a lot of your shows, and some of my favorites are Squidbillies, Archer, and of course Aqua Teen. So, I mean, if you guys had anything to start off with, anything new going on, or?
The big 100 for Aqua Teen is coming up, 100 episodes, and then episode 60 of Squidbillies is coming up very soon, which is going to be great. Big two milestones for us.
Yeah. 100 is just crazy over the top. You're gonna love it, man.
Oh, I'm hoping so, yeah. So you guys did animation for the first season of Archer, right?
We did.
Okay, and then you're passing it off to a separate team, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, what happened was Scott and I used to work with the guys that created it, making C-Lab with those guys back 2001, 2002, and then we ended up getting just super busy with Aqua Teen and other work. But they called us. They had moved out of their studio and were sort of done with their shows at the time, and they got the call on a Wednesday saying they wanted the show to get picked up. They called us Friday to try to help, find a way to get the show made for the first season, because the production had to start 5 days later. So we had about 5 days to scramble and get the entire team together and set it up. So we came together and just worked just building this, big animation group that just sort of knocked out the first season. And
the thing with us is we I guess it was almost 10 years ago now. Right about this time, I was sitting in my bedroom with a dictionary, like trying to figure out the name for a company, just poking at words. And in the past 10 years, we've animated, I don't even know how many TV shows, TV commercials, promos, bumps, and we literally have grown this little studio from a couple people, a handful of people, up to, at one point we had 80 people working when we were doing the free show for Comedy Central. But that's kind of we had this ability to expand and contract, and we basically had the infrastructure and staff. So when they've done that, they've made their shows internally on their own, and but when this kind of happened last minute, they were like, where can we go? And literally have an animation team overnight. And so they called us, and I wasn't even in town. Greg called me, I was out of town, and said,
it was a Friday, and I said, hey, Wednesday, we're going to start on a new show. You up for it?
Was the plan jump in quality for that show? Because it falls like a sort of pattern when it starts off with C-Lab. They got a lot better with Frisky Dingo, and then Archer seemed to bump it up a lot more. Was that just basically because of budgets, or is it more of a conscious?
It's hard for me to speak to because those were their shows, and I don't know what their budgets or anything were like with the people they were working with. I think, sometimes the quality or style of the show is a device, uses a device. I mean, there's been plenty of times I know that we've done designs for shows, and Todd is an amazing artist, and he will draw these really amazing designs. And who is it down? We have somebody that works with amazing.
Somebody is really good.
I still imagine you're good though, right?
He's unbelievable. Yeah. But he would draw these amazing designs. They're kind of like, I kind of think if you just drew them like, maybe if you drew left-handed with your eyes closed. I mean, it's like other people,
Well, you ran into that just recently with the Ghost for one of the episodes coming up.
Yeah, there's an episode coming up of Aqua Teen where with the process, what we do is sometimes we have to take in, and I'll just draw a quick placeholder while the show is being put together, and then I'll be animating and drawing on it while that placeholder, so that production can keep going. So I just drew this quick, they needed a ghost, so I just drew this quick sketch, put it in the placeholder, sent it, and then I get a call from Dave Willis, the creator. He's like, hey man, we really love that ghost, and we're just going to keep it. I'm like, you're kidding me, it's horrible. So I'm like, I don't like it, it's driving me nuts. And so then he's like, well, so I had to animate this character that I just,
was a sketch.
That was just a sketch that I just threw in there. So you guys will see that coming up soon.
Did you know anything about that viral Mooganites taking over the city thing? I know you know about it, but.
What is that? Yeah, what are you talking about? Which one is that?
Legally not allowed to.
We oftentimes find out about those things late.
Yeah.
When it's all over, like, oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys work on the live action? Did you handle that for the Aqua King?
No,
We
great.
did, I went and was a part of the shoot for the whole thing, and
Yeah.
You were like getting people coffee and stuff now?
when they would let me, they kept asking me to stop doing it, but I tried.
Yeah.
We did also, we had to do, put the track, we had to go and be a part of a lot of that as well, making sure that we put the tracking dots on things for when we needed explosions or, any sort of, effects on the TV or anything like that. We had to go and take control of that stuff for,
Also, the great thing about Dave and Matt, the creators, is they really try to get us into there as much as they can. I mean, they let us draw ourselves into the show. They in part of the live action, they got all the animators as background people. So basically,
oh, that's right, our studio
yeah,
is bouncing
was
in
bouncing in the bounce houses in that episode.
Oh, really?
Live action.
And I was in there for 2.5, 3 hours, jumping up and down. And I tell you, it got to the point where I would go to bounce and I'd go like this to jump and I would just fall. I just couldn't jump anymore. It was, that was hard. Craig was wise and said, you can take my place, it's okay.
He needs some screen time.
Yeah, you need some screen time. Oh, that was, I think I lost 10 pounds in water that day. It was hard.